Welcome to the audiobook Lou's on First, written by Chris Costello with Raymond Strait, narrated by Chris Costello. It was important to tell my dad's story the way it was, to unravel all of the myths and the misconceptions and share him as a father, husband, son, brother, uncle, friend, and the comic who, along with Bud Abbott, became one of the most memorable teams in the history of show business. I realized that I could not write his story alone, as I only had him for a very short time, but those who knew and worked with him could. So to accomplish this, I took 4 years, interviewing over 250 people, from his boyhood friends to family to the many people who worked on their films, including co-stars, directors, producers, writers, even crew members. I researched archival material, newspaper and magazine articles, poured through boxes of family scrapbooks, letters, universal contracts, and more. I was on a mission to tell his story in a fair and accurate way. As I would sit and transcribe every word from the many interviews I conducted, I came to realize that another journey was beginning to unfold. It was mine. I was only 11 when my dad died in 1959, and 9 months later, at the age of 12, my mother followed. There were a lot of tears pouring over that typewriter, but through the many who shared their stories, little did they know that they were giving me the gift of getting to know my parents as an adult. Television talk show host and entertainer Steve Allen offered to write the foreword to my book. I considered this a great honor, as both Dad and Bud had appeared on his show, and when the team dissolved, Dad accepted Steve's invitation to appear as a guest, not once, but 4 times. Please join me as we open with Steve Allen's foreword to Lou's on First. Foreword. My first personal contact with Lou Costello was in October 1956, when Abbott and Costello presented a gold recording of their classic Who's on First routine to the Baseball Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, New York, before a national audience on The Steve Allen Show over NBC TV. A year later, about the time Lou Costello split with Bud Abbott, he appeared on my show and did routines with our regular gang of comics, Louis Nye, Don Knotts, and Tom Poston. Each of our shows was presented live, with very little rehearsal, and it was not surprising that Lou Costello fit that format perfectly. His years in vaudeville and burlesque had taught him the ad-lib skills live TV requires. I had seen Abbott and Costello on film in the 40s, when the team was in its heyday, and I was a young man in radio. But it wasn't until the late 50s, after having been personally involved in television with its array of talented guests, that I was more fully able to appreciate Lou Costello's remarkable brand of comedy. The Abbott and Costello team portrayed a relationship between a smart guy and a dumb guy, a type of comedy duo of which there were many in vaudeville. Abbott played the role of a very knowledgeable and authoritative character who was very quick and was always bossing around an apparently uncontrollable character, Lou Costello. Most of the comedy of such a relationship comes from the fact that the so-called dumb character wins out anyway. Significant about Abbott and Costello humor in today's social context is that I don't remember a single line in their films or stage appearances ever being off color. Even though they came out of burlesque, they proved that you don't have to be dirty to be funny. Only a very talented team like Abbott and Costello could have survived the transition from burlesque and vaudeville to radio to films to television to nightclubs over a period of 22 years. No list of great comedy teams would be complete without the names of Abbott and Costello. They left a legacy, and fortunately, we can still see their films on television today, and I'm
Sample complete. Ready to continue?